Today I'm gonna be making chicken parmesan and lemon pepper asparagus. So we're not skimping on any of the flavor or the cheese or any of that today, or the breading on our chicken parm. We're going all out. We're making everything taste flavorful, but we're not having any pasta. So that's gonna be like my compromise, my healthy compromise for today, okay? So I'm gonna start by preheating my oven to 425. I literally just put it on. So if you're cooking along with me, preheat your oven to 425 right now. And while that's heating up, I'm gonna season my chicken breast. So here I have two chicken breasts that I just sliced in half to thin it out, so they can cook at even amount of time. And I'm just gonna season this up with some Italian seasoning. I'm just sprinkling it liberally. It's just an Italian seasoning blend. And salt and pepper on either side. Season the other side, the same thing. Some Italian seasoning and some salt and pepper. And some Italian seasoning. Okay, so seasoned it liberally on both sides. I'm gonna set this aside. Now I'm gonna show you guys my asparagus. So I've already cut the ends off, but I'm gonna show you a little trick. So you're supposed to just bend it and it's supposed to break. So that's how much should come off. These parts are very fibrous, and so they get kind of chewy when you're eating them. If you've ever had asparagus that was like OD chewy, it was probably because they didn't cut enough off the ends. So I'm gonna show you again. Just bend it. Wherever it breaks, that's where you take off. I have it here on a lined baking tray, lined with foil, nothing on it yet. I am going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil on here. I'm not measuring, but if you are, it's 2 tablespoons. We don't want this to burn. Okay. 1 tablespoon of lemon pepper. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt. And so, if you're cooking along with me, the chicken parmesan ingredients list has 2 cups of parmesan. 1 cup of that you're gonna use on this. So here I have 1 cup of shredded parmesan. I'm gonna use half of this on my asparagus right now. I'm just gonna sprinkle it over. And I'm gonna use the other half later on. Okay, so just go in there with your hands and mix this up. Make sure there's oil, seasoning, cheese all over every single part of the asparagus. Oh, this is my asparagus here. This is how I spread it out so everything can cook at the same time. I'm gonna set this aside. My oven is still preheating, so I'm not gonna put that in there yet. Now I'm just gonna show you the breading part, right? So I have 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs and 1 cup of shredded parmesan here that I mixed together. And we're gonna do an egg wash. So we're gonna go from chicken to egg to the breading, and then we're gonna pan fry it, okay? So I'm just gonna whisk up my egg in here. My eggs are small, so I'm gonna use 2, but if you have a large egg, you should be fine. I'm just whisking it up in a shallow bowl. I'm gonna put a tip of water in here. So we're gonna set up a sort of assembly line. We're gonna go chicken into the egg, into the breading, and then we're gonna pan fry it, okay? So now we're gonna season up each, the egg and the breadcrumbs, right? So we're gonna put a little bit of that Italian seasoning in the egg and a little bit of it in the breading. I'm also gonna season it up with some salt and pepper. So we're seasoning as we go, each step of the way, to make sure there's flavor, maximum flavor in here. Okay. Whisk up my egg. All that seasoning in there. So while we wait for that to heat up, I'm just going to season up my marinara sauce. So here I have 1 cup of just like basic generic marinara sauce, and I'm gonna put a Maggi cube in here. I'm gonna put 1 teaspoon of white sugar. I always put a little bit of sugar whenever I'm using any sort of like tomato-based kind of sauce, because tomatoes can be kind of tart. I have 1 minced garlic here. I'm just gonna throw this in here in this bowl with my tomato sauce. I'm gonna put a little bit of that Italian seasoning. Gonna mix this up, and we're gonna pop this in the microwave for about 30 to 40 seconds. Well, now I'm gonna put my asparagus in, okay? This is what I'm looking like before it goes in. I'm gonna put this in here for 20 minutes. Let me set my timer. So this is basically just to like get all those flavors to melt together, to melt the sugar. You can taste it. See if it needs anything. I think I'm okay. While that's heating up, I'm gonna start with my first chicken breast, okay? This is a good angle for you guys to see. Just gonna grab the chicken. I'm gonna just dip it in the egg. Make sure it's nice and coated with the egg. This is gonna ensure that your breading sticks. I'm just going to lay it in here. The tongs help greatly with this, so you don't have to actually get your hands all messy. You can see what I'm doing. I'm just spooning the breading over so I can make sure I get breading on both sides. Pack it on there, guys. You want a nice thick coating. We're not skimping on the breading today. Okay. You can see, nice and breaded. Okay, now I'm gonna put some olive oil in the pan. I'll start off with about a tablespoon. I'll add as we go along. Now we're gonna just let that heat up. I think my oil is heated up enough. I'm just gonna gently place this in the pan. Okay, there's a little sizzle. Now on to the next one. I'm gonna show you this again, the steps that I take before I get here, okay? So it's chicken and egg and then in breading, okay? It looks like I can fit about 2 in here at a time, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in. I'm gonna show you guys when I flip it the color that we're looking for. But also don't heat your pan up too much. Don't have it on a really, really high flame because you want your chicken to cook through, right? And we're not putting this in the oven afterwards, so we want this to cook here on the stove, okay? Okay, I think this one's ready. I'm just gonna flip it. All right, I'm gonna flip this other one. Oh, this looks so good. So this is it flipped. So I'm gonna let this go for maybe like another 5 minutes. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna cover this for a second so it can steam up, that heat can stay in there. I'm gonna do that for 2 minutes just to make sure that the chicken's cooked before I put the sauce and the cheese on there. Okay, there's 5 minutes left on the asparagus, so I'm gonna check it now. Let some of that heat out. Oh, look at that, guys. Beautiful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sprinkle some Parmesan and I'm gonna toss it, just like move it around in the pan a little bit with my spatula. Just roll it around. Make sure it's not sticking. Okay. So I just sprinkled some more Parmesan, fresh Parmesan on there. I'm gonna pop it back in now. There's 4 minutes left on my timer. Let me check on this chicken. I'm gonna flip it one more time. Oh, see, I'll show you this color. This is what we're looking for right here. The nice little brown parts, brown edges. Okay, so 1 more minute covered, and then we're gonna melt up that cheese on there. So the recipe calls for 2 cups of mozzarella. You may use all or some depending on your, your taste. This is just one of my chicken breasts that I have in here that's cut in 2. So I'm gonna use about half of this cheese and about half of the sauce, all right? And it's also 1 cup of marinara sauce. I'm multitasking over here, drinking and cooking. It's important that you have a pan with a lid for this because this is how we're gonna melt the cheese. Alternately, what you can do is at this point put it on a baking tray do the next steps that I'm about to do and pop it into the oven. But that's just like extra work in my opinion. So I'm not gonna do that. So now I'm just gonna spoon some marinara sauce on top here. My seasoned marinara. So it's about half a cup for both these pieces. And about a quarter cup of mozzarella cheese on each. And this is shredded mozzarella. I'm trying to just pack it on there. So let me show you guys before I put the cover on. This is what we're looking like, okay? See the tomato sauce, you see that nice heaping amount of cheese, about a quarter cup each on each piece of chicken. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit and just let this melt. I can see the cheese melting already. Okay, that's the timer for my asparagus. I'm gonna pull that out. Turn my oven off. Get some of that heat out. Beautiful, guys. My lemon pepper asparagus. Oh, there we go. Cheese is all melty. Oh, depending on how greedy you are, you can have one piece of chicken or two. These are pretty big, so I'm gonna say one should suffice, but we don't have any pasta. So if you feel like going back for seconds, you can. Guilt-free because there's no pasta. See all that gooey cheese on there. Okay. You can't overeat veggies, so go for it. Pile it on. Let me wipe up my plates. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of parsley flakes on here just for garnish. If you want, you can also sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan on here to finish off. But this is it, guys. My chicken Parmesan and lemon pepper asparagus. Okay. Doesn't it look cute? Amazing. Pretty easy, right? It all came together pretty fast as well. If you're cooking for a lot of people, it'll take a little longer, of course, to cook the chicken. So maybe you cook half of your chicken first before you put the asparagus in the oven. But we're all done. And that's it, guys. So thanks for joining me. If you guys cooked along with me or you plan on cooking the recipe at a later time, just please post it, tag me, or tag my cooking page. I love to see you guys' creations. And if you have any questions about the recipe, if you want to make any substitutions and you want to know what I think, you can just shoot me a message. That's it, guys. Thanks. Bye.